What's up, everybody? So today I'm trying something a little bit different. This is Angel Rodriguez, a good friend of mine. How you doing, Angel? It's good to see you.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we've known each other a very long time, like 13 years.
Oh, since '08, since 2008.
2008. Yeah, it's been a long time. You know, I worked at Screw Attack back in the day, and we met through that. And every once in a while, you come hang out.
I do.
And you're here now. So I thought we'd try something sort of fun. I thought we would just talk about the news that's been going on and get your reaction, your resume, so to speak. You play sort of everything, right? You like fighting games. What do you want to tell the people about yourself?
Well, first off, thanks for having me. Appreciate being here. Like you said, my name is Angel Rodriguez. My call sign right now is Trendominus. Prior to that, it was the director of Awesome. So I used to do stuff with Screw Attack at SGC, the Hype Man. I was a one-time competitive gamer in Street Fighter. All the love for Zangief. And yeah, used to be a tournament player and stream on Twitch, Trendominus. That's pretty much it. Nice guy. Loud brown guy.
Well, he's okay at Street Killer Instinct also. So, yeah. May have won one or two back in the day.
One or two.
So the big stories this week are you heard about Activision Blizzard being purchased by Microsoft, right?
I did.
So these documents came out that everybody's sort of been talking about, where we got some insight into how Sony sees the merger and how Xbox sees the merger. And the more recent story was that Microsoft defends the Activision Blizzard buyout by saying the company don't make any must-have games. What's your read on that statement? I can bring up the statement here really quick. So here's the article we'll be referencing, and let's get the full quote. Specifically with respect to Activision Blizzard video games, there is nothing unique about the video games developed and published by Activision Blizzard that is a must-have for rival PC and console video game distributors that could give rise to a foreclosure concern. Read Microsoft's response to the New Zealand Commerce Commission published in a report from June. That means that Microsoft don't consider their future ownership of Activision Blizzard's franchise, such as Call of Duty, to cause issues that would prevent their rivals, among whom they identify Valve in the PC space, from competing against them. And then at the time of the call, back in 2003, Call of Duty was called one of the most successful entertainment franchises of all time. It's not just a must-have, according to this writer over on what website it is, Rock Paper Shotgun. And it looks like today there was an update. Must-have is a legal term of art and not a statement about the value we place on Activision Blizzard's gaming portfolio. We love every one of their games and have enormous admiration and respect for the creative talent behind them. You know, actually, with that context, I feel like that's important context,
It
right?
is.
So they're just like, people are interpreting this as a personal statement, like you and I would as gamers. Like, Call of Duty isn't a must-have,
Right.
you know, but for a studio portfolio, it's a big deal to own Call of Duty because it makes so much money, right?
Yeah, I agree.
So what's your reaction to the story?
Well, when I first heard about it, I started laughing too, because I interpreted must-have as in something that you'd want to play, popular, make money. But I think Microsoft is saying this as a result of trying to make it seem as though they're not creating some sort of monopoly or making people feel comfortable so that they'll allow the purchase to go through.
Yeah.
So, and I believe they made this response in reference to something that Sony had put out.
Yeah.
Right? Wasn't that what it was? So from a legal perspective, I could understand what they're trying to do.
Yeah, you're correct. Like, some of the statements that Sony put out were no rival can overtake Call of Duty. Call of Duty is so popular that it influences the choice of console by users, and their network of loyal users is so ingrained that even if a competitor had budget to develop a similar product, would not be able to rival, the splendor of that. And my whole thing was, I'm like, Sony, you sound weak AF if that's your statement against Call of Duty, because they own Bungie. And like, if we went to Steam charts right now, I bet you Destiny 2 is still in the top 10, right? So for less money, they purchased a rival to Call of Duty, and they have Bungie working with them to develop like 10 IPs.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's why I think it's just legal jargon.
Yeah.
So Sony is just trying to do something to slip them up. So Microsoft had to come in, say something like that just to try and make everyone feel okay. I don't think any of this makes sense. Because then you also have to think about what Sony's been doing with a lot of their in-house stuff, like God of War, for instance, you know?
Yeah.
Like Sony has a lot of access to other products that they keep from other people to be successful. So
Spider-Man,
right?
God of War. I'm not going to be playing Horizon on my Xbox anytime soon.
No,
right?
no.
Yeah.
So that's what I think it is. It's just
They're playing the game.
that's all it is.
Both of them are playing the game. And people thought I was being too hard on Microsoft. Like I didn't understand what they were saying. I understand what they're saying. They're trying to downplay it. And Sony's trying to make it seem like it'd be really bad if Microsoft purchased Activision Blizzard.
Right.
Because then we would lose money.
Exactly.
But it's like, aren't you guys posting record-breaking profits every year? Aren't you $5 billion ahead of where Xbox sales are right now? I think you're going to be okay if you lose like a couple million every year in Call of Duty sales, you know? Especially because it's remaining third party, so it'll still release on other platforms.
I think that's what they said. Was there some concern? That was one of my concerns. I was like, I don't know, are the future, you know, moving forward? Will Xbox be like, nah, we're done with all that. It's Xbox only. Maybe this is an argument for like a future IPs, but I don't know. I don't know if that would even make sense because they make a lot of money having Call of Duty everywhere.
Well, when I get where you're coming from, because when they bought Bethesda, all those games went exclusive, and for a long time there was a lot of debate. Oh, like is Elder Scrolls going to be exclusive? Is it not? And then it turned out, so Starfield's exclusive, by the way, everybody. And I don't think a game has come out like a new Fallout's not going to be coming out for years, and we'll have to see what happens there. But they've been pretty clear that those games are going to be exclusive.
But those are also single player experiences, right? Do you think maybe that plays?
You think multiplayer plays a role?
I'm assuming so because they make money by having multiplayer, multi-platform. It increases their reach for revenue. But single player, I could see them doing the whole exclusive thing for single player content.
Well, you know what I think plays a big role in the Activision versus the Bethesda merger? The FTC.
Really?
They gotta like say, oh, we're not gonna do anything too scary. Well, sure, Call of Duty can remain multi-platform. And my whole thing is nobody ever looks at Candy Crush. Right?
That's true.
Like,
that's
Candy Crush makes way more money for them, and like their mobile efforts have been so profitable for Activision that it's funny that everybody's so focused on Call of Duty, and I'm like, yeah, Call of Duty's pretty big, but their mobile market, King, it's massive,
right? But
nobody cares about that because it's not a console game.
No, that's right. That's true. That's true.
Yeah,
that's very true.
What else did they say? I'd love to get your thoughts on. I highlighted a few of the statements here, and I wanted to specifically ask you about your take on Game Pass and those subscription services. So Sony has said that subscription services lower game quality. While Sony agrees that subscription services compete with games purchased for a one-time fee, the lower immediate cost of subscription services to consumers can make publishers who recoup significant investment in games by selling them for an upfront fee uncompetitive. And that's a really smart argument because that's actually something that Microsoft will have to answer for. This can harm consumers by reducing the quality of the game. And that's the case that they're trying to make. We had a lawyer on the show, Rick Hogue, who said that's their best way to convince the regulators to not allow the deal to happen because it's going to reduce product quality and it's uncompetitive because they can just sell at what they say a loss. So the issue I had with this statement was they also go on to say, let me find the quote here. Continuing with his response, Sony said that Game Pass has captured approximately 60 to 70% of the global market for subscription services over the past 5 years. The market share in Brazil is reportedly even higher, with 70 to 80% of PC subscription services comprised of Game Pass. Sony believed creating a rival to Microsoft's subscription service, even with substantial investments, will require several years for a competitor. Okay. What about PlayStation Now? Now part of PlayStation Plus, your 3-tiered system. You're telling me it's going to take you 5 years to figure that out while you're touting you have 45 million subscribers? Like the numbers are not genuine, right?
Right.
Because they're looping in standard PlayStation Plus subscribers to their subscription service. I actually really like the PlayStation Plus subscription service, but I want to hear your take. I could talk about this I'm used to talking solo, right?
Right.
But I want to hear your take on it. So like, do you think Game Pass is a bad thing for any reason, or do you have Game Pass? Like, do you use it?
All right, there's a lot that goes into this one, honestly.
Yeah,
when we're talking about
yeah,
Game
I
Pass.
know it's a big topic.
But I personally believe that Game Pass is one of the best things that has happened right now in the industry, and I think Game Pass is better than PlayStation Now because I was subscribed to both, and then I ended up dropping my subscription to PlayStation Now because of the lack of titles, diversity, and the new stuff that I wanted to play. Where Xbox is like, hey man, you're getting even day one releases on Game Pass. So I think for the money, it's an incredible return investment for us as a consumer. So I love Game Pass. The argument about it affecting game quality, I can understand it from an intellectual level, with what they're trying to say. They're like, oh, well, we can lower the bar, whatever it may be. But I also think that's a lot of BS because there are games that are coming out now, high AAA title games that have low quality, and all they're worried about is, making money. Anthem is probably one of the biggest failures because I hurt my feeling. I took that personal.
Yeah,
right. But if you're looking at games like that, Marvel's Avengers that had come out, so like the single player was good and it could have been better. However, they held back for monetary reasons, which I'm assuming. But I don't believe that Xbox Game Pass has an effect on the quality of the product that's being produced. I think on the opposite end of that is Game Pass actually helps out developers because since the game is on the service and we have access to it because we're already subscribed to it, it'll put more eyes on those games. And from my personal perspective, I've actually played a number of titles that I wouldn't have purchased, titles that I wasn't interested in, but since they were on Game Pass, I gave them a chance and I found out, wow, these games are great. So I personally believe that it's the opposite, that Game Pass will make things better, excuse me, for developers. It'll get more eyes on there. And I think it's going to spawn more competition, which is what people are really afraid of.
Yeah, and Sony is actually trying to compete right now using their PlayStation Plus subscription tiers. And I think the real metric of success for them would be how many people bumped it up from standard PlayStation Plus to that extra tier, right? So, it's just two different strategies. Now, I don't like a lot of the stuff Sony has done, but this last year, I think they've made a lot of positive changes about how they release their games. Like more of their games are coming on PC. And selfishly, I want more Sony games on PC day one or within that earlier time frame. Somebody's ordering cookies. Somebody's ordering cookies. They'll have to wait a little bit. I lost my train of thought though. It snapped me out of it. Yeah. So Sony, they're like, we're going $70 for all PlayStation 5 games. And it's like a blanket statement. So there's all this drama surrounding The Last of Us Part 1 remake, which looks amazing, but they're charging like a brand new game price for it. Now, that's not to diminish the work that developers put into it or anything like that, but it's just like not all games are $70 products. And they're just saying every game is going to be $70. Yes. So how do you feel about that?
I've argued about this multiple times. I don't think that going up to a $70 price point makes sense. So especially when we're in an industry where a majority of the sales now are digital. So there are a lot of overhead and middlemen that have been removed. So like the cost of functioning has gone down, but profits are going up. So I get upset about that. Also, when it comes down to what a game looks like and the investment costs and all this other stuff, like as a gamer, I just want a good game, a good story, something that I can enjoy. And some of the best games that have come out have not been the AAA multi-million-dollar big budget things. So them deciding to make that investment in something, that's on them. That's part of their job as a developer to figure out what risk versus reward. But going up to $70 in today's environment, I think, is unnecessary, and it's just
especially this year. Yeah,
it's definitely not correct. It's not a good move, and I don't like Sony doing that. That kind of bothered me. Yeah. And The Last of Us, that gets me so upset because it is a good game.
Yeah,
The Last of Us is a good game.
It's like one of the best games ever made.
It is,
I would say.
My eyes may have sweat. I might have sweated when I was playing it, but it's a really good game. But they're not making a brand new title. You know what I mean? So they're just improving what has already been done. That doesn't. I personally believe that does not deserve the $70 price tag, because that means we're putting something that's already been made and is just being improved. You're telling me that I have to spend the save money,
more money than
more
you
money.
purchased. It would be more expensive than what you paid for it on the PS3 or the remake.
Correct.
That was not remake, remaster. That
Correct.
was just done on PS4.
You're right.
So they're like,
it is more expensive. You're right.
yeah. So and let's say you bought the PS3 version like I did at 60. Let's say you bought the remake like I did at 60. And now they're like, one more time,
Yep.
$70. It's like, I've already spent $120 on this game.
Yeah.
Now you're asking me to spend another 70, putting me up to $190 to play The Last of Us. I think there's other things they could have done with it. You know, a lot of people made the comparison to the Gears of War Ultimate remake, which was basically this repolishing and recreation of the original Gears of War. Looks phenomenal, like big improvements over the original. That launched at $40. You know, and that was like before Game Pass was huge.
Right.
So, I mean, you and I agree on the $70 price point thing, I think. But what the argument that people online would make that I've actually really come to understand was, I know if I give Sony $70, I'm going to get a phenomenal experience, because time and time again, their games have been great. Think about it. Returnal, Last of Us Part 2, the Ratchet and Clank game, Ghost of Tsushima, you know, like the games, the Spider-Man game, Spider-Man Miles Morales, even though it's short, like it's hard to beat that bar. So does that argument that I see a lot online kind of like give you an understanding of where people are coming from?
No. No.
Well, so why not though?
No, because you have other games that are releasing that are of exceptional quality as well, that we're releasing at the $60 price point. So that extra 70, right? To us, right? If you just look at one game, they're like, well, that's only extra $10. But what I'm looking at it from is like $10 over 1 million being sold. That extra profit, is that really necessary? But because you can create great experiences at the $60 price point, and they have been creating great experiences at the $60 price point.
A lot of the games I listed were $60.
You see what I'm saying?
What about haptic feedback and the rumble triggers and all the sexy stuff that they're upselling you at?
Nope, that's all of that extra stuff. That's what I was talking about, the investment, right? So if they're trying to make this investment into the hardware, then that's something that's going to eventually pay for itself through the software being pushed, right? That's the long game. That's the game that they're playing.
Yeah.
So I am not looking. If they made a game that didn't have haptic feedback, I'm okay with that too, because I'm just looking for great experiences. Like most recently for people, Elden Ring, for instance, right? It's a phenomenal game.
$60.
$60, right? No haptic feedback, none of that stuff, but it's a really good game. Hollow Knight, as I've been playing. There's no bells and whistles, but it's a fantastic title. So that stuff's not necessary. I do not feel that we should pay for things we did not ask for. That is unnecessary. And they're already able to create these fantastic experiences at the price point within the environment that we're already comfortable with. So all of that extra stuff, especially in this digital first environment, everything is just profit from my perspective. Everything's just profit. So.
And my whole thing was, besides the controller differences between Xbox and PlayStation charges you $10 to upgrade to the PlayStation 5 version of their games, because they, like, if you buy the PS4 version and you wanted to get the PS5 version of the Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut, I believe it was $10. Same thing with Death Stranding Director's Cut. Both phenomenal games. Like, I would never argue that those games aren't good, but the fact of the matter is, it's just like they're marketing the justification for the $10 price increase, right? So yeah, let's move.
It's just marketing.
Yeah, let's move on to the next story really quick. Good topic though.
Comments are going to be blowing up.
I got to pause real quick. Somebody's at the door. All right. Somebody was at the door. They wanted cookies too. You can order yours today at LeGaryBakery.com. No, in all seriousness though, let's get back to the stories. This one was pretty cool. So there's a leaked script that seems like it might have been pretty legit for Square Enix Tomb Raider something. I don't know if it was a movie or what, but this was from Sacred Symbols. Colin Moriarty over there had this thing, and they got DMCA'd like the second it went up. They got DMCA'd, and he's like, what? Like, what happened?
That's a good sign that it's legit.
Yeah, so it's sounding like it's pretty legit. And here's The Verge reporting on like what happened with the story. Basically, they're looking for a female in their mid-30s who's white, 5'6", athletic, and a prototype of Emily Blunt, Rosamund Pike, etc. Moriarty read. Then he went on to read a large passage describing a possible new tone for the game. Lara Croft is now at the top of their game. Gone are the days of the young, inexperienced woman dealing with matters of legacy and familial reckoning. Lara has let go of her childhood and fully embraced the life of adventure and purpose. Her legendary career has been lauded in print and tabloids. Tall tales of adventure that have inspired a new generation of Tomb Raiders to seek their fortunes in the world. And with this new phase of her life, Lara fully accepted her place among the ruins. For many years, Lara plumbed the depths of forgotten places, played cat and mouse with many nefarious opponents, and worked to uncover, preserve, and protect the lost secrets of the world, lest they fall into the wrong hands. But as the years have passed, this is very long, but as the years have passed, Lara has become lonely at the top. The beginning of this next chapter presents Lara with the quintessentially adult problem facing something too big to handle alone on this new adventure. Lara will encounter a challenge she can only overcome with a team at her side. Collaboration is foreign to her. She always succeeded alone. So in this situation, she's a fish out of water. So that's like the story. And I actually saw this a few days ago where there was a rumor that the next Tomb Raider was going to be a collaborative game. Did you play Assassin's Creed Brotherhood?
I did not. I've actually never played any Assassin's Creed game.
Oh, really?
I probably lost my gamer card right now.
Yeah, get out.
What a loser.
Brotherhood's one of my favorites because you would have these assassins that you could like call into action while you were fighting and everything like that. And you kind of leveled up your Brotherhood, hence the name. And it was a gorgeous location. I don't remember, it's so long ago, but I remember really enjoying that idea. So this echoes that idea to me where you're going to have teammates. And we've seen a lot of games doing this more and more, like the way Gotham Knights is handling it. Basically, you pick a character and then you play as that character, but the other characters are doing stuff in the background, right? But this is legit. They DMCA'd it. So it has I say it's legit, right?
I think so too. If it's being DC or DMCA'd that quick, I think it's legit.
Yeah, hopefully this doesn't get DMCA'd because we talked about the news story that everybody's reporting on. Yeah. So anyway, it's crazy that they pulled it down so quick. So Chris and Dustin played out the scenes. And lastly, Mario reads a note that the female actor they're looking for may have romantic scenes with another female character, but that there is no nudity or simulated sex. So good to know there's no sexy times. But there's some smoochies. Yeah. The last one was Colin decided to pull it down at the end of the day. But he says, I didn't steal it. I didn't ask for it. I didn't buy it. He told his listeners in a follow-up video about the DMCA takedown. I was acting in the notion that this is fair use. This is of huge general interest. And so whether or not there's legitimacy to the DMCA, I think if they just left it alone, I don't know if it would have got as much traction, but now it's going to get a lot of traction because everybody thinks like, okay, well, yeah, the leak's real.
You know, it would be crazy if they did that on purpose just to get
generate hype.
Yeah, and then for us to read that and then react to it, and they're going to use that as a barometer, like, okay, this story's good or not.
A lot of people think that's exactly what they do with Assassin's Creed, actually, because every Assassin's Creed game that has ever come out has been leaked, right? And after a while, it's kind of like, is it really leaked? or are you just like, is this just like clever marketing? Yeah. Like, oh, Kotaku got it again. Surprise, surprise. You know? So, yeah.
Because that's what I would do. Like if I was making a game, especially Laura Croft, right? Because she's a
Lara
Croft.
good old Laura.
Laura. It's all the same. It's just accent. Lara Croft, but she's a loved IP, right? Everybody loves her.
Yeah.
Right. So it's kind of like and the last couple games that came out, it's like either you love it or you don't. It's like, you know what I mean? So they're probably like, man, I don't know what we should do. So if I was them, that's what I would do. Like, let's put this out there, see what happens.
And then DMCA.
Yeah. Get it down. Now it'll go wider. And then sit back.
Yeah. Well, I think it's legit. Like, that's my reaction to it. I'm like, oh, well, it's real now for sure. So if their goal was to, like, suppress it, they failed. They failed amazingly.
Yes.
If their goal was to highlight it, then that was successful.
Worked pretty well.
Yeah.
It worked.
The last one I had for you is kind of an interesting one. This one's a little older, but I wanted to get your take on it because, so you haven't seen this one yet, right?
No.
Okay, so there was a leak from Jeff Grubb, and this is Nibel doing his notes about it. There's a Black Panther game in development. It's titled Project Rainier. It's developed by the new studio, headlined by ex-Monolith VP Kevin Stevens, and published by EA. It's an open-world single-player game where the player becomes the new Black Panther, and it's early in development. An open-world single-player game where the player becomes the new Black Panther. What's your reaction to a Black Panther game? Do you think it would like blow up?
Honestly, if we're just talking about time, not even taking into account this new Black Panther that's coming out. If we're talking from a timing perspective,
it's probably like 3-4 years out at least.
I think the timing is not good. Because even if they make this game, and in my head, because you said Monolith, I'm assuming it's going to be, like Shadow of Mordor, but Black Panther. You know what I mean? This is what I'm envisioning. But I think that the timing might be wrong, because if it came out before, while Black Panther was pretty hype, I think we would have been more excited for it, and it would have been more successful. And then a lot of it's going to hinge on the success of the second movie. As to whether or not we're going to be excited about it. And then on top of that, there's always going to be that underlying idea that they're just trying to monetize, the original actor whose name escapes me for some reason, him passing away. Like they're going to try and leverage that to make a game, to make money. So I don't know. Do I want to see this character and enjoy and play a game? Well, yeah, I think it'd be interesting, but
Chadwick Boseman.
It's not. Yes,
I don't want to get it wrong, so I googled it.
Chadwick Boseman. So I'm not really excited for it. I feel like that the character is great. The character had its time, but if that same actor was still alive,
he was so good. He played that character amazingly, and nobody knew. What was going on in his personal life, but
nobody did.
Man, what a legacy to have the rest of the crew and the production people have to live up to.
Yeah, no, that's hard.
He was really good.
That's difficult. And that's what I think. If he was still alive, then this game would have the possibility of being more successful. But it's going to be facing a lot of challenges, and there's going to be a lot of doubts going into it. So I don't know. I'm on the fence.
Did you see the Black Panther movie?
Yeah, the first one?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Well, I think there's just the one, right? Because there's all the Avengers stuff that has Black Panther in it.
Yeah.
Like Winter Soldier, I think, is where they introduce him, right?
Yeah.
And then they did the Black Panther one.
Yeah, I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, I really liked how they handled the dichotomy of the two characters and how they went on different paths, and then the good guys win.
The cinematography was good. The writing was pretty good. The fight scenes were pretty good. There was some questionable stuff in there, but that's every Marvel movie.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it was really good. By the end of the movie, I was pleased that I watched it. You know what I mean?
Generally speaking, how do you feel about this new phase of Marvel movies? While we're sort of on the topic, I am I'm out. For me, I'm just I don't know what the frick that. I don't know who these characters are. The Fantastic Four movie, sure, right? But the secret whatever, they're not even marketing it as a secret.
No, I checked out, and I don't think it's. All right. uh,
Oh boy, you're
uh,
about to get roasted.
how do I stay calm? You know, somebody's just waiting. I know somebody's there. Like, oh, I'm gonna light them up. Like, why your head so shiny? Anyway, but no, this new phase 4, I think was actually really bad. But the reason why I think it was bad is that they didn't put as much effort into focusing on the characters and making compelling stories. So in all of the Marvel movies that I've watched in phase 4, I never really felt connected to the characters in the same way as the previous movies that came out. And to be honest, it's not because these characters aren't as well known. You know, like even in the Eternals, I had no idea what that was about. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I wasn't connected. But real talk, I was never connected to Captain America either.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't a big Captain America fan. I didn't read the comic books or none of that. But Captain America and his movies were written so well that I was able to understand and go for a ride with the character. Like the narrative was really good. Phase 4, not so much. Everything that they've made in phase 4 has the writing has been weak, so I don't really feel connected. I don't think they're doing a good job. So I'm happy that they're ending it early. And I'm hoping that that's signaling that they're going to redirect and focus more on what makes the movies great. Spectacle is good. But if you have spectacle without substance and the characters being that substance, then the movies really are a waste.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm hoping phase 5 is going to bring more character substance, and then the spectacle is the cherry on top.
I don't think you can ever recreate what they did with that original series leading up to Thanos, however you say it. And that final, well, hey, you can't say Lara. I can't say Thanos. Yeah. So like the lead up to that was just so good. And then it finished, and now they're trying to like capture that in a bottle. And I don't think they're going to do it. I think there's going to be good movies. Like looking at the list here, we see Daredevil Born Again. There's a Blade movie. I loved the old school Blade movie from the 90s.
Let's go.
That was really good.
We don't talk about Blade 3 though. That movie.
No, we don't. Yeah.
There's only Blade 1 and 2.
Yeah.
That's it.
And then there's I'll give him Captain America, I'll give him Daredevil, and I'll give him Blade. Not so excited about Loki season 2, Guardian of the Galaxy Volume 3, maybe Quantumania, Secret Invasion. I don't know what any of this stuff is. I don't know what the Marvels are. I don't. Ironheart is apparently a Black Panther thing.
Well, I thought that was the female Iron Man.
Oh,
Ironheart is
no.
female
You're
Iron
right.
Man.
You're right. But it's the actress who played Black Panther's sister. See, like I would have to look it up.
I don't care.
So like
I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't care.
So we got a new Captain America. We're gonna have a new Iron Man, and then we have all this whole new cast of characters. We have a few. I'm really happy Daredevil's coming back, and it is the same actor, Charlie Cox.
Good. I'm happy about that too. He did very well.
That's good, but I just feel like they're trying to capture it again, and I don't think until Phase 6 or whenever. So Fantastic Four is actually coming out in Phase 4.
Like
so
at the end of Phase 4.
Yeah,
there's oh damn, I can't remember. I used to know this, but now that the camera's here, I'm crashing and burning. I'm scared, guys. I'm scared. I don't want to look.
It's okay. It's okay.
But
so a lot of these.
That's what it was.
I'm googling it, and Fantastic Four is there, but we still have Wakanda Forever, the new Black Panther. I'm kind of interested to see how they handle the whole thing.
I'm scared, man. I'm worried about it. I'm worried because that level that bar was raised so high, but because if you look at this, right,
it could be really tacky.
See? They can see it.
No. I can bring it up over here really quick.
Because even if you look at the Phase 4 stuff, right, if we're looking at the movies that came out, the fundamental difference between the very beginning, like you were talking about the lead up to Thanos, was that they had a purpose. Like each movie you could tell led to something. Whereas
this is going to look terrible. But
now Phase 4 it's not leading to anything, right? There's no anticipation. There's no nothing. So, because if you look at Black Widow, the timing was wrong, right? You know,
it was like okay. It was like a family story, right?
It wasn't even that good.
Yeah, it was okay. I bought that movie to watch it early. I was so excited. My wife and I were stoked for it. That was before the pandemic. That was the movie that we were like, we're going to go see that in the theater. And then the pandemic hit, and then they delayed it a year or two? So we finally watched it, and we're like, I think she fell asleep. And
it wasn't that good. It wasn't that good.
Yeah.
I was very disappointed. If it had come out
I'll give him
before she passed away in canon, then it would have made more sense, you know, but at the end, it didn't make much sense.
They're just setting up her sister. Really?
They did. Who is an amazing actress, by the way.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're watching this, you can come up with some time. Let me know.
Yeah, I'm sure she's gonna call now.
Of course, she watches you. You know, you're famous. That's what it is.
Yeah. Okay.
Shoot my shot.
I'll give him Shang-Chi. That one was pretty good.
It was pretty good. It was okay.
It was Spider-Man No Way Home was good.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Eternals? No.
What the? Yo, that was probably the worst Marvel movie ever made. Worst.
Yeah. I didn't like Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, and I still haven't seen Thor.
I have to see Thor. I don't know, man.
Did you see Ragnarok?
Strange? No, I haven't seen Doctor Strange yet.
Yeah.
See, what usually happens is during summer visitation, my daughter makes me watch all these movies and I catch up. But we didn't get to see that one. Mm-hmm. So no, instead we went and saw Top Gun, the new Top Gun.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not saying I cried in the movie theater. I'm just saying my eyes were sweating.
I haven't seen it yet, but everyone's saying like that is a must-see movie.
It is fantastic. One of the best movies ever made. But yeah, Ragnarok was my favorite. Thor Ragnarok was my favorite, and they said Thor Love and Thunder is supposed to be more of that, but too much. And then I heard.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what I
like
heard.
Too many jokes.
Yeah,
that's a tough balance to strike, right?
We'll find out.
Yeah, and then I don't care about the Marvels. I don't even know what is Ant-Man and Wasp's Quantumania.
Nah, that's just like on the side.
Yeah, that's like
whatever.
I like the actors.
I like Paul Rudd. I love Paul Rudd.
Yeah,
but the Ant-Man thing is kind of just like off to the side.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I'm sure it'll be fine, but like Volume 2 was also sort of like where his dad's God and then he's a god and
true. That is true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it. It wasn't as good as the first one, but I did enjoy it. Yeah.
And so, Fantastic Four, I'll give it to you. I still need to see Thor, and I still need to see Black Panther, but I don't know. I'm just sort of like I'm just really checked out of it. Like I don't have that same excitement I would every time a Marvel movie came out. Like even the ones that didn't do as good, the original Captain America and stuff. I was like really excited to see that in the theater because we knew they were building a team to the Avengers, right?
Right.
And they're like, all right, they got the Avengers, they killed the bad guy, and now a lot of people died, so they're trying to replace the actors who, like in the real world, probably just are done with doing that type of work and want to move on.
Yeah.
And just this whole new cast of characters. So
it can be done. I'm not saying that they can't continue the stories. It's just that the stories that they're giving us are not well written and there's no purpose to them. They seem to be injected with other things that have nothing to do with building a compelling narrative or something that leads and connects all of the movies together in the same way that the originals did. So right now, it just seems like a bunch of different movies that are not connected, but they want you to think they are because they used to be. I don't know. It's all confusing.
The through line was much easier for even a casual comic fan to follow. Now you're talking about Kang the Conqueror. And growing up, like I read comics, I don't know who the hell Kang the Conqueror
I didn't even.
I've never heard of him before. So like I watch, IGN's explainers or whoever's explainers. And I learn and I was like, all right, I guess.
He's still, but even though he's supposed to be as a result of Loki, I'm like, oh, this guy's important.
Yeah.
He wasn't in Eternals. Like they didn't even talk about him.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? And then you watch other movies, right? You remember spoilers, at the end of Eternals, they killed a god basically, right?
Sure.
I forget the name, but
I turned Eternals off.
Oh, well,
yeah. I got about 30-40 minutes in and I'm like, I'm good.
I watched the whole thing.
I got to finish it still. Yeah.
I wanted to watch the whole thing
though.
because I want to be able to talk about it intelligently.
Yeah.
But there were some things that happened in that movie that should have at least been mentioned in some of the other movies afterwards. And they weren't.
Yeah.
And there were things going on in the Eternals because the Eternals was supposedly happening while all this other stuff was going on, but they never talked about it. So everything is just so fragmented. It's so, I think that's where we are now, is that the viewers don't feel connected because there isn't a storyline to connect to.
Yeah.
It's very fragmented. And then as a result of not having anything to connect to, I think there actually might be some fatigue.
Yeah. Franchise fatigue is definitely a real thing.
What's going on.
Yeah. We kind of veered off into like a whole movie,
We're all
Marvel
over the
movie
place.
thing. Yeah. I don't feel a ton of connection to any of the stories. You're right. They're like, what the hell is happening in Moon Knight that connects to Loki?
I don't know.
I
just think of it as its own thing.
Yeah.
Moon Knight.
And like there was Hawkeye and really all these things are like, oh shit, these actors are getting older and they don't want to do these movies anymore. They want to do different types of roles. We need to introduce newer characters so that they can like sort of carry the mantle forward, right? And so it feels like filler. I think is what it is.
No, it is, because again, I don't think they've figured out what they need to do. So Hawkeye is a perfect example. I think that was terrible. I think it was a terrible show because it wasn't Hawkeye. It was the girl featuring Hawkeye sometimes.
Yeah.
Is basically what it was. So
calling his wife a lot, checking in.
I was like, why?
Oh, I'm late again. Sorry.
Why is this even a thing?
Yeah.
But if they had done a compelling narrative to show that, you know, we got more Hawkeye because it's called Hawkeye and we love Hawkeye. And then they had it show us why we need to focus on this girl and why she's going to be doing what she's doing. Then it would have been easier for us to just go with it. Be like, yeah, okay, she's the new point now. But as I said before, I don't think Phase 4 doesn't have good writing. So I'm not against having someone else take on a role and press on. Like, you never hear me flip out about Batman. Is it Christian Bale? Is it, you know, whatever, man. Who's playing Batman? Oh, the Twilight now? The Twilight guy?
I like the new Batman.
Me too.
Yeah, it was really good. It was really good.
Because they had narrative.
Yeah.
It was good writing.
Yeah.
So it doesn't bother me to see a new actor take on the mantle and press on. But the narrative has to make sense.
Yeah. I was really skeptical on that one, but I never faulted the actor. Like, everybody shit on... They always shit on the new actor. And I'm like, okay, yeah, he did Twilight or whatever, but is he a good actor?
He is. He's a fantastic actor. He really is. Even in Twilight, he did good. I had to watch it.
I think people get negative thoughts about a product that has been created, and I'm like, hey man, that guy's making money. Like, you might not like Twilight, but that movie made bank for him.
It is.
So yeah. Anyway, that's all I really had. I just kind of wanted to hang out and talk about games with you.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me and allowing me to be a part of the community. Appreciate that, guys.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having Angel, everybody. And thanks for watching. If you like my content, hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell. It's right there in Angel's tummy.
Right there.
Yeah. Thank you to the members. Thank you to all the members that support this channel and allowing me to do goofy content like this. We're going to get out of here. If you want to become a member, click that join button. It's right down there. Boom. And we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.